So, going back off of yesterday, um, SINT, the stock that I traded, that I was lucky enough for me to get out early because it ended up squeezing on me and I didn't even want to get out. If you look here, this would work. Um, so yesterday I was talking about it, I shorted it, it went straight down. I covered right here, but and I made like $33. And I didn't want to get out, but luckily I did get out and it bounced and ended up squeezing all the way up here. I'm glad that I got out, but end of the day it went squeezing, um, breaking past previous highs. But looking at the next day or after hours, it faded, and then the next day market was about to open, it started tanking, and market opened. I can zoom out. It just consolidated. It went up a little bit, but you see how the next day it will fall some more. So if you short and hold on to the next day, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you can make more money because it goes down some more. As far as today, there wasn't really any good trades that I was looking at I could find today, but this stock right here, IEA, it's a energy company. Pre-market, I was watching it and I could feel like I needed to short it. It had a low float, but looking at the price action pre-market, it was telling me that this shit was gonna fade. And I looked at the past history. Past history told me right here that it's gonna be choppy. If you notice right here, it came down, went up, came down, went back up, came down, went back up. So that told me it was gonna be choppy. If you see right here, you just see choppiness some more, down, up. And then, I just knew, okay, this was gonna be a choppy stock. So I don't really like trading choppy stocks. You see where it's down, back up, down. It's really choppy, but it's choppy towards the downside. So pre-market, when I was feeling like I should get in, I didn't because I wasn't comfortable, which is okay. It's okay not to be comfortable. But pre-market, it tanked. I felt like I needed to get in right here, but I wasn't comfortable because I'm like, if it's gonna be choppy, it's gonna come right back up, and I'm gonna get in at the bottom, and I don't want to short and bet against this company at the bottom. But when I didn't, that shit just started tanking. And it went down, I believe, about $1 from when I was watching it. And I was kind of like beating myself up, like, damn, I should have got in because I was right. But I also was right that it was gonna come right back up, and that's what it did. Within the first 15 minutes, it bounced right back up, but then it faded for the rest of the day. And it was a good trade to short, but you just have to be able to deal with that choppiness. And I'm not okay with dealing with choppiness. I can deal with it, but I better have a really good entry. This is a stock I actually traded today. I traded live. I'll go to the 5-minute chart first and explain. So I saw that this stock had a big spike, or it went up for a good amount for the past 2 days. I believe it was Monday. It went up a lot, faded. Next day, didn't do anything, and went back up again that day. So from looking at the past history and also looking at the yearly chart, I could see that it fades a lot. If you see, you'll see right here, faded, but it will fade. See right here, it will fade, come back up, fade, come back up. If you zoom out over here, you see the same thing. Fade, come back up, fade, come back up, and then fade all the way. So it was like a choppy stop to me. I didn't trust this one. I was uncomfortable, but I had a little battle with myself today. Pre-market, I was watching it. I wanted to short it. I think somewhere, I don't know where, right here, yeah. Right here before market open, I wanted to short it. But I just wasn't comfortable. Market opened. I seen it spike a little bit, so I got in right here. Shorted it. I was up like, I'll say like 50 bucks. But I got greedy and I'm like, I wanted more than that. And I didn't want to get out, and it just squeezed on me. It literally squeezed on me, and I was stuck holding. I was battling with myself. I didn't want to get out. It was a horrible trade. I'm just gonna tell you, I lost 76 bucks on the day. Excuse me. It wasn't a good trade at all. Then it started fading. I covered like 100 shares here. No. So when it started squeezing, it broke past my entry, and this was my risk, and I covered my 100 or 200 shares. I got out, then I shorted right here again, up here. And I shorted right here. I tried to short for a few hundred shares, like 300 shares. I couldn't get it. Ended up getting 100, and it faded. But and I had only 1 day trade left as well, so it faded, and I covered just for 100 shares, and it pretty much was doing what the past history said. I wanted it to fall down and just keep going fading. It didn't. It clearly, as you can see, it just started ramping back up. I tried adding some shares, but it was like pattern day trading rule restriction. I can't add shares, and I ended up covering up here for another $78 loss. I had covered somewhere around here the first time, and I made back some of the money that I lost, but I didn't get out my entire shares, and it pushed back on me, and I lost a total of 76. The lesson in this trade is, the mistake I made was first, my risk. My risk was up here, including the previous day. These spikes right here and right here was at the same price, or 1 penny away from each other. That was my main risk. So when I got into this trade this morning right here, I told myself, don't get in right here, wait for a big spike near the high of day or my risk, and then short from there. But I didn't listen to myself. I got in too low. It dipped, but it didn't dip enough, and then it squeezed on me. I should have waited to short here or here. This would have been better shorting here. Of course, it went up, but I could have had my first try at it right here and my second try right here, and this would have been a better short for me. This would have been a completely better short for me if I just listened to what I told myself, but I didn't. So I ended up losing 76 bucks because first I didn't follow my first rule of my risk, which eventually messed up my entry. And then, of course, my exit, I didn't want to listen to my exit, which is my risk, and I lost even more money than I anticipated. Not only that, I got greedy, which is I'm battling with. I wanted to make more money, but because I wasn't even, this time I wasn't afraid of losing money, I was more afraid of the pattern day trading rule, which I hate so much because it's fucking me up. But if I didn't have the pattern day trading rule, it would have been a lot easier for me. But after losing and covering my shares, losing $76, I went into my paper trading account and I started shorting the same stock, MARA, right here. And it just faded. But I can only get fucking
Trading connection lost.
176 shares. And that wasn't enough. There was no more shares available to short. So I was stuck with that 176 shares, less than what I originally had it from when I started trading live, and it faded. It faded. But I just broke all my rules after paper trading. I didn't take it seriously. I didn't cover when I needed to. I was so angry with myself, I didn't even want to process the trade. And I kept thinking about it, but I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to think about it. And I just went to bed. I went and took a fucking nap. I was that angry because it was like, fuck, bro. I love this so much, but I don't listen to myself. And I had the mindset of, oh, it's gonna fade like all these other stocks that you see here, where the next day it just fucking fades. And IE fades. And then I was like, I'm gonna hold it overnight. And it's just gonna fade, but clearly you see after hours, it's fucking spiking up. So I'm in currently at by average per share is $4.57. I have 176 shares. Clearly you see here it is fucking pushing back up. I could have gotten out around I would say $4 for a $57 gain, or close to $100 gain really, but I didn't. So now it's squeezing up, and it had a pullback. We'll see what it does. Market open tomorrow, but overall, this was a bad trade. I didn't fucking listen to my rules. I was listening to a speech from Tim Grittani. It was a year 2016 in Orlando, where he spoke about. He spoke about how his rules protect him, and his disciplines protect him even more, or something like that. He said it, but it made complete sense to me. Your rules are there to protect you, to save you, to make sure you do the right thing. But you being disciplined and making sure that you follow rules will help you even more than your rules. Because even if you have rules and you don't listen to them, you're fucked. But you need the discipline to listen to them, and that's my issue right now. I know the rules, I'm just not disciplined. And I'm starting to learn why, what's causing me not to be disciplined. Fear of not missing out, but fear of losing money. And I'm learning to overcome that fear. My fear of not having enough day trades, wasting a day trade. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep focusing on stacking up for that 25K goal. That's the reason why I'm fucking up right now, is because I'm so afraid of losing my 3-day trades that I will get in and short early right here when I can just wait. Because I was afraid, what if it just goes down without me? And I was impatient. I didn't want to miss it like I missed it on IEA, where right here, it just dumped when I was right, and then it bounced back up and shorted and faded. I could have shorted this stock twice and made money twice. So that's one of my biggest issues is I'm undisciplined. I'm not following my rules because there's certain factors. So when I get out of the PDT rule, and I'm not too worried about the money because I got the 25K and I'm willing to lose up to $1,000 or two on practicing, that won't mess me up as much. That I'm okay with losing, $1,000, not in all in one trade, but I'm okay with losing $1,000 if I'm over the PDT rule and I have the 25K set, So it's just like, I know what's fucking me up, and it's things that's happening in my personal life. Well, not my personal life, but my personal other things in trading. It's not trading itself that's fucking me up. It's what I don't have enough of so that I can truly trade myself the way I want to without being in fear. So those are just a few things I need to correct, and that's what I would do. But I really hope you understood this video and understand where I'm fucking up at. But then remember, the main thing is knowing your risk, having your rules set, and disciplining, having the discipline to follow your rules.